Hi, everyone. Welcome to the first episode of Body Buddies Breaking the Stigma. Today, joining us, we have Rohit, who had scoliosis. So, welcome, Rohit.
Thanks, Chanel. Thanks for having me on board.
I'll kick us off with our first question. So, basically, Rohit, would you be able to share with us what was the medical condition you suffered from and a bit of information about it?
Yeah, so I was diagnosed with scoliosis at the age of 14. I had a curve of 40 degrees when I got diagnosed, and 6 months later, it grew from 40 degrees to 82, which was a drastic increase. And to describe what scoliosis is basically the curvature of your spine as you're growing. So for me, the cause was unknown, but yeah, it started at the age of 14 and it got up to 82 degrees. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. So, would you be able to share with us, like, what are the symptoms you kind of experience from scoliosis, and do those symptoms or the aftermath of these symptoms still affect your daily life?
Yeah. So for me, I had a stabbing pain in my back during scoliosis. And that's what made me actually go to the doctor and get diagnosed with the disease. So after which I got a surgery 6 months later because the curve grew quite drastically. And now I have, my spine is basically fused with two rods and around 20 screws. But yeah, no pain as such after the surgery.
Okay, that's wonderful being able to hear that. Um, in terms of like the recovery process of scoliosis and like after post surgery, what was that kind of like for you?
Well, because scoliosis is quite a big surgery, and it requires, it was literally a 7 8 hour long surgery if I'm not wrong. So it's quite a massive surgery, and it required almost a year's worth of rehab. I was not allowed to play sports, was not allowed to do anything um, that would literally put my body under strain. But the bright side was I went through that 1 year without playing any sports or anything, and now I'm able to run faster than most people. I go to the gym, I play cricket, I do everything. So it's never been kind of like it's never hindered my life to say the least. But it did take a couple of years to get back to normal completely. Yeah.
And in terms of like scoliosis, do you think there is a stigma associated with it in society? And what are some things that you would kind of like to see to help break this?
I think firstly with scoliosis, the thing is that it's not that well known. Believe it or not, there are not a lot of people outside of the medical community that know about scoliosis. There have been times where I've gone and told people, hey, I had scoliosis, and then they would be like, what is that? So I would have to dumb it down and explain how, oh, it's your spine kind of curving and then things like that. So a lot of people don't know about it. It's not that the awareness is not that common, at least. So what that leads to is people just having stabbing pain in their back or whatever symptom they have, and it being ignored. So like
Mm.
for me, my parents definitely didn't think I had scoliosis. They just thought I was just a young boy with some muscle pain in my back. But I think it's very important to people out there to know that this is an early indication of something that could be quite drastic. So if these symptoms can be caught early on, then you could prevent yourself a surgery. Majority of people only realize when it's too late because they ignore the initial symptoms, such as just muscle pain or just getting tired after playing for a while as a kid, and they keep on dragging it along, and by the time they realize it's 70 degrees, 80 degrees, and at that time nothing's going to stop you. You need to have surgery. So if it is caught early on, you can use corrective measures such as braces, physiotherapy. There's a lot of things you can do, but it needs to be put out there saying, look, these are the early signs and it needs to be caught early.
Yeah. So would you think that the first step for kind of like what you've mentioned is really about health awareness and like making sure that there is that um, that knowledge out there available for people, like the general public, to kind of educate themselves on what scoliosis is and like other common medical conditions.
Yeah, absolutely. I think scoliosis is quite common for a growing child. Like, I'm not saying that everyone has it, but it's known to be common for a growing child. And believe it or not, I'm pretty sure there's so many undiagnosed cases out there, because people just think, oh, your back looks a bit funny. Your back looks, why is your shoulder bent? But they don't associate that to some disease. So it's very important that the education, the awareness is raised, saying, okay, look, these are the early signs, your shoulder dropping, or one shoulder blade looking bigger than the other, muscle pain, getting tired. All these are very early indications. And if they're caught and if they're actually raised, like, people need to know about this. People outside the medical community need to know that these are the signs that your child has scoliosis and it can be treated. Because if it's caught too late, then that's pretty much it. You're bound for surgery.
And just adding on to that, do you feel like obviously scoliosis has had a huge impact on your physical health, but do you think having a medical condition in general, what was that kind of impact on your mental health and your social health?
So I would say, look, any surgery, let alone scoliosis, is bound to have an impact on your mental health and your social health as
Mm,
well. Things that you can do to kind of counter it. Like for me, it did make a massive difference because I used to play a lot of cricket, and for me to
mm.
stop that for a couple of years was a big change to who I was as a person and my life in general. So to counter that, I think you need to have a good support system. You need to have a good family who's willing to back you. And you need to understand that this is not the end of the world. People have surgeries, people have cancer, people have scoliosis, people get out of it. If you stick to your 1, 2 years of rehab, take it slow, listen to your body, listen to what your body's saying, take it, accordingly. You'll do fine. There's nothing like today. I'm sitting here and I don't have any reminders of me having scoliosis. There's nothing that affects me. And this is, a resultant of me taking it easy and me having a good support system around me. So if people who are going through scoliosis, all I would say is, take it easy. Life, this is not the end of life. There's a lot more to life, and you will definitely come out much, much stronger because this is a story to tell. Just like I'm sitting here today, there are so many people out there who can tell this story because it will make you become a much more tougher person.
Thank you, Rohit, for sharing a bit about your story and how that has shaped you. Um, Thank you so much for joining us once again. And this will mark the end of our first episode of our Breaking the Stigma series. There will be a few more medical condition patient interviews that we'll have coming up in the next few months. So please stay tuned for that and see you soon. Thank you.